And they
Nice thing about this is, if you're hungry, you throw a steak on it. By the end of the road, your lunch is done.
Sucks the liquid out of it.
we've got the covers on the front here. They're on the top. It's for when the plants are small. You can see right there. With the flame going, they've got one of the tops on.
Forgot the marshmallows. I want to stay back no more. I don't know what it is. Are you going to print the meat?
And if you press into it and you can see your thumbprint, it means
It
it
didn't go a full steam.
did an okay job.
To see a
see the
thumbprint, I
dark spot
picked
right
up
there.
some of the clover, small clover.
And then
Say,
right
these are
here.
dandelions. Dandelions are perennial, guys. You know all that. We can kill the top of the
But it
dandelion
doesn't
and it's
look
going
like
to come
dead
back.
right away.
So you just gotta be stubborn and keep working on it. I got some organic guys back on Nebraska side that have pastures, and they use handheld units, and they do spot flaming for dandelions, for Canada thistle, for leafy spurge. But you just gotta keep doing it. You know, like heat is just gonna kill whatever is on the surface. It's not gonna get into soil. It's not gonna sterilize the soil. It's not gonna kill the weed seeds. I mean, I get people say, "Oh, will that kill the weed seeds?" No, it's not gonna kill the weed seeds. The seed needs to sprout, to germinate, to kill the germ, not to kill the seed. And what's that? I see how these are already turning. See how they're turning darker color. See, the bottom ones that were not exposed were still light green, and you see the middle ones up on the top, they're turning dark. Like I said, it's a 2,000 degree heat, guys, and he didn't run it full steam, so and they haven't really tried it much this year, except a little bit. That's what Scott was telling me earlier. Oh, I'm assuming that they're probably using a rate of about.
He's doing. How's he
Right, they're probably using about 4 gallons per acre rate. You know, and if you got little bigger weeds, maybe you can crank up the pressure and
gray shirt up there, he made,
instead of
they
delivering
made
4,
this
you can deliver 6
by
gallons,
the
6 gallons
specs
per acre.
that he gave.
Either way,
the guy
it's
in the
still
red shirt
cheap, guys,
gave.
as opposed to
They made this
hiring Hispanic
themselves.
crew. At least that's what they charge back in Nebraska, and you can't even find them, you know. Nobody wants to walk the beans anymore. Roundup Ready took care of that. But the resistant weeds are coming in now, so you'll hear more about Roundup Ready problems down the road yet. Did you want to ask the question? Sorry.
In a drought,
Okay, the question was, what do you do in the drought? Obviously this year was not very good for flaming, we all know that. And if you have a lot of trash, a lot of residue on the ground, you don't want to be running this because it's going to set the field on fire. But you can wait, if you got a sprinkler system, if you can irrigate, you throw about ½ an inch of water on it, and then you can run it, it's going to work just fine. Or if you know rain is coming, and then do it about an hour after rain. So we've done that. We tested on our station. We turned the sprinkler system on, and some plots we irrigated with ½ inch, with ½ an inch, with an inch, with 2 inches, and about ½ an inch was enough, you know. And this was a soybean stubble that we did it in, and the wheat stubble that we did it in right after harvest. So, yeah. Any other questions?
Put that sweep down on the second run, maybe on the weeds.
What's that?
Put down on the second half.
Right, or you can flame and cultivate at the same time. That's where we have down on the bottom of this handout. We have a 4-row machine that actually flames and cultivates at the same time. Yeah, and it works great.
We don't do it on the first time.
No, it doesn't matter. You can do it on the first time too. It doesn't really matter. Yeah.
We explained that we adequately got it. I think we're Memorial Day.
If you cover it with the dirt, it's going to help with reducing the regrowth. But for most of the broadleaf weeds, we didn't see any needs for it. It's only for grasses. It's only for grasses. And when you get grasses right there in the crop row, I mean, they're a bitch to clean. You guys all know that. So, yeah. Yeah.
I got a question for Scott.
Scott.
Yeah.
How, in a corn crop, what are your typical rotary hoe, cultivation, flaming? What's the sequence of things typically following planting?
Okay. Is this on? Yeah. Okay. I think we're going to talk about that more when we get up there near some of our other equipment and talk about that. But why don't we just wait and see, and if we don't cover it, we'll cover it then. But we were going to kind of run you through how we start and go through our harrowing and rotary hoeing and then flaming or what it is we do.
Maybe I'll just make a comment based on some of the guys that I've worked with in Nebraska. They would cultivate anywhere from 4 to 7 times in the season. They're basically out there once a week cultivating. And this is pretty flat around here. The further west you go, you get into some hills, or you got some really good hills. And then on the eastern side, or across the river on the eastern side of Nebraska, we got plenty of hills there. And some of my organic guys there are in a pretty hilly country, so they're actually seeing problems now with soil erosion because of cultivation so much. And so I had a grant there that was funded by the NRCS, and we were using flaming as a method to reduce the number of cultivation. So we had parts of the farm where I let the guy do whatever he was doing, his traditional way of killing weeds, and then I had about 10 acres where we were using our methods of control. And with 2 flamings and 2 cultivation, that was the whole weed control program. So.
Are they planting in a ditch, like a hard ground lister or anything like that, to help when they cultivate to roll the dirt in on it?
I mean, they're just using a regular planter, so nothing special really.
They're not hilling.
Right. No, this is not hilling or anything like that. No. Yeah.
And that's, I'll say, as far as the flaming goes, we try to do that. It's part of a system. It isn't the end all, because, like you said, it won't necessarily kill the grass, but it'll stunt it and wilt it, so that it gives a chance for the corn to grow and gives you a chance to then cover that up with a cultivator, as opposed to if that grass is growing with the corn and you try to, you just don't do a good job of covering it up.
Yeah, it's just the one tool in the toolbox, so that's what it is.
It's really death on broadleaf, so it's done at the right standards. Suckers, you're on down.
Are we ready to move over to the corn plot? If we'll just
All right,
walk out
thanks, guys.
the field, it's